somebody's going to try you and see if you're really about that life at some point, right? If you want to present yourself in a certain way, well, there's potential consequences that come with that.
Right.
He's going to go to the wrong city.
Right.
And some gang member or somebody that, is really about that life is going to roll up on him. And in that moment, he's going to realize, like, this isn't an Instagram live video.
Not no more. Yeah.
This is real life, and danger is right here on your doorstep.
Yeah.
Now, how are you going to respond to it?
Check it.
Mic check, mic check.
Yeah, we sound good.
1, 2.
And we're back in the stew.
Cool.
Hit him with that intro, cuzzo.
Welcome back to the Electives Podcast. This is episode 18, I believe. I think we're on 18.
18 or 19, one of them.
18.
You might be right.
All right, yeah. Episode
It's one
18.
of them.
As you guys can see, we've got some new apparel and some new gear here on the Electives Podcast. I want to give a shout out to my sister for getting this for me for my birthday, for the mug and the shirt. And then
the shirt looks good.
That's a mighty nice hat you got there,
Man,
sir.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. You see the electives. We're trying some out.
Yeah. I'd have mine on too, but I can't get this
Yeah.
Christmas tree up underneath that hat.
That's the trucker hat over there.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
have to post a official picture of that.
Yep.
It looks kind of clean, man. I think it looks kind of clean.
They are clean.
Yeah.
And then we'd love to get your guys' feedback as
Yeah.
well on the logo. As you
Yeah.
can see on the new logo, we think that it's pretty clean.
Yeah.
Less is more. Let us know what you guys think. But let's get right into it, cuzzo. So I wanted to get your opinion, man. We always say we're not a sports podcast,
Right,
but at the
right.
same time, we believe that sports translate into life, and then there's
Yep.
other things, that we discuss on the podcast. But Denver's up 3-0 right now on the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yep.
Miami's up 3-0 against the Celtics.
Giving them the business.
Did you see this happening?
I didn't see it being like this.
Nah.
No, I did. I was rooting for Denver and rooting
Okay.
for Miami
Okay.
just because of that whole Lakers Celtics story that they were trying to.
Oh, yeah.
That whole conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
So I was like, man.
Yeah.
And plus, I think Denver's the better team. I think Miami's the better team. But yeah, I definitely didn't see it going 3-0 or even a possible sweep.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
No, I don't think anybody saw it coming, especially with the talent that you have on all the teams, right? But especially, LeBron James, one of the greatest players of all time,
Right.
playing with the Los Angeles Lakers. You have the Boston Celtics, who have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, two of some of the best players in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody thought that either one of those, those guys would be down 3-0.
Yeah.
But from a coaching standpoint, what are you seeing that Miami's doing that's making them, it's giving them that edge over Boston?
Yeah, I think it starts with the coach. I think Eric Spoelstra is a great coach. I mean, that guy knows his stuff. But also, they're playing as a team. So, whether the rotation is 1 through 10 or 1 through 8, I mean, those guys are all playing together. Jimmy Butler's obviously the head.
Right.
But even without him out there, they operate just fine. And
They kind of remind me of like a college team,
yeah.
the way that they play. It's just unselfish basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
Jimmy's standing in the perimeter and Vincent's going off.
Right. Yeah, he's watching him walk down, coming off the screen, splow.
Man, I saw him go, bring the ball up in transition, just pull up for 3.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang. So they're playing with confidence, and I think it starts with, Spoelstra, and then it goes right to Jimmy, and he's trusting all his teammates. It's not like he has to have the ball, the whole time.
And they have, 4 undrafted guys?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's impressive. And what does that say about the organization? What does that say about Pat Riley?
Right.
Being able to plug these pieces in. And so
Right.
sometimes it's not about having a big name or anything like that or going for the quote-unquote best player in the draft.
Right.
It's about what does your team need,
Right.
right? Finding those players that have a certain skill set that would work well for what you have going on or what you're trying to build.
Right.
Because they also lost Tyler Hero. They lost Victor Oladipo.
Yep.
So it's not like they have a full healthy roster,
Yeah, and it's like you say, it's that coach bringing the best out of all his players. Whatever it is that they do well, just do it better.
Yeah.
Now just do it better.
Yep.
When your name's called.
Yeah.
And I think that's opposite for the Celtics. So they only have 2 players that are really leading that team. But then when you really look at it, the story is always Jason Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally just don't think he has enough to do it like that.
Do you think Jason Tatum is a true number one?
No.
For a team? You think
he's not. Yeah, he's a solid number 2.
And Jaylen Brown, same thing? Or is he a number 1 as well? Or he just hasn't had the opportunity because of Jason Tatum?
Yeah, I see Jaylen Brown like a Mikal Bridges.
Ooh.
Like, we don't know what he is until he's by himself. Mikal Bridges.
That's a really good comparison.
Yeah,
he a really good point, too.
Yeah, he can play. Like, he played his role very well in Phoenix. Yeah. But then you put him on Brooklyn, and you're like,
he could do that?
Dang.
He's averaging 30.
Yeah. And
over in Brooklyn.
I think Jaylen Brown could be the same thing. Whether or not he could be the leading player of a championship team, that I don't know. But I think he's better. He could be better than what he is now. That's for sure.
Okay. Now, I got a good question for you, too. Do you think if Ime Udoka was still the coach of the Boston Celtics, that they would be down 3-0? Or do you think that coaches make that much of a difference?
I think it could make a difference, but it's hard to say because, since we're not in there, we're not in the locker room, it's hard to say. But that is a good question. If he would make a difference in that locker room, I don't know. I mean, I think he's a little older than the coach is now. Then, so I don't know if that would make a difference.
Right.
Maybe him being a younger coach. I don't know.
Well, like we pay attention to like body language, right? You want to pay attention. I'm sure you do the same thing. Like you pay attention to the body language of your players. Right. The body language of the Boston Celtics when in Game 3, a must-win game.
Yeah.
They quit.
Yep.
They quit. Yeah. Anytime your team quits on you, that's also a reflection of the coach, in my opinion, because you have coaches out there that. Yeah, you might be blowing us out by 20 or 30, but these guys they keep coming.
Yeah,
they keep coming. They keep hustling. You said that Jason Tatum, is obviously one of the best players in the league. A lot of people compare him to Kobe, but Kobe wouldn't have let that happen. He wouldn't have went out like that. He would have went out shooting 60 shots if he had to.
Yeah, because he did get blown out by the Celtics in one of those championship runs. Kobe did.
Yeah.
If you remember that, but he played the whole game. He didn't.
Yeah, he didn't come out.
When I saw that yesterday, like as the coach, you don't want anybody to get hurt. But at the same time, we're like life or death.
We're in
we're
in the Eastern Conference Finals.
We have to play. Like you guys have to go. I don't care what you do.
No, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. Yeah, but, backs against the wall.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it could have made a difference. The coach did look like he was defeated.
Yeah.
Too, and then when they put the camera on him, he looked a little defeated.
No, he did.
And I think if he looks defeated, then like you said,
the rest of your team's defeated. Yeah.
So I don't see them coming back though.
No.
I'd be surprised if they even show up for Game 4.
They might as well not. There's no point. And over on the West Coast with Denver and everything that they're doing, something that crossed my mind is that I honestly believe Nikola Jokic is truly the MVP or was the MVP this year, and that they gifted it to Joel Embiid.
Yeah, I agree with that. Jokic should have had it. Embiid just doesn't have the MVP traits. So like when we think about a leader, he's just not it. Mm-hmm. He's just he can play very well, but he's not the centerpiece of the team. Mm-hmm. Even though he is the best player.
Right.
I just don't think he's the centerpiece.
I get you.
People don't listen to him.
I get you. Yeah, I get it.
Because if that was the case, Harden wouldn't play the way he plays.
True.
That wouldn't be allowed.
True.
Doc Rivers, they don't listen to him either.
Yeah.
So
it's a bunch of individuals.
Just doing whatever they want. And then Denver, it's the coach, then it's Jokic.
Yeah.
And then it's everybody else. Jamal Murray, then it's everybody else.
Yep. And what I noticed is like just the way that Jokic does so many things.
Yeah.
For his team. And he looks like he does it with little to no effort.
Yep.
I mean, he's not athletic. No. He's not fast.
he's
not strong. Like, I mean, he's got size. He's 7 foot. Don't get me wrong, but he's not like a physically strongly put together guy. Like, he doesn't look like how like Dwight Howard looked when he played for Orlando.
Yeah, like a football player.
Yeah, this guy. If you saw Nikola Jokic at your local grocery store, you would just think like, oh, this is a guy who's just tall for no reason.
Yeah, tall for no reason. Yep.
You would not think that he is averaging a triple-double in the NBA. In the playoffs. At that, which I think also goes to show. I think, and that's the thing about the Denver Nuggets. and Nikola Jokic is, I think they're trying to show people. They're using this as a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, you guys aren't respecting the 2-time MVP and giving us a chance of winning the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
You give the MVP to a guy who, and I do believe Joel Embiid had a great year. You know, I'm not saying he didn't have a great year.
Yeah, he had a great year.
But when you look at the numbers, the guy who's basically averaging a triple-double for another year, 3rd time in a row.
And they got the best team.
Exactly. I got to go with that guy. But to see them playing the way that they're playing is, to me, in my eyes, them showing not just the league, but everybody else that doubted them, like, hey,
right,
we're here to win this whole thing.
Yeah.
And we're not stopping until we do.
Yeah, and I think it ties into, like, a lot of the stuff we talk about where, you know, where you're trying to be a leader and it requires you to be unselfish.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Jokic and Jimmy Butler have that. You know, even though they're best players, they're making everybody else better around them.
I agree.
And Jason Tatum don't do that, and neither does Joel Embiid.
That's a great point.
And that's why, you know, well, they're about to be out. Well, Philly's already out, but
yeah,
Jason Tatum's about to be out.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Now, in that matchup, Denver versus Miami.
Yeah.
Who do you give the nod to?
That's tough.
Because you got great coaching.
Yep.
You got deep benches.
Yep.
And you have amazing players.
Yeah. I think it's going to be I'd give it to Denver because of Jokic.
Okay.
I don't know if Bam can handle him.
No.
I think Jimmy and Jamal Murray can go at it.
Yeah.
Jimmy might be able to slow him down.
Right.
Just because he's bigger and stronger.
Right.
But, I mean, if you can't stop Jokic, there's nothing you can do.
Well, yeah, and the Lakers have Anthony Davis, and he can't do it.
Well, I don't think he can guard you. You know, I don't think, Anthony Davis, man.
One good spin move and a drop step.
Yeah, well, I'll trip him on his way.
Right. Yeah, he's out of there. He's leaving in a wheelchair after that.
And I think Denver has that that look, in their eyes, like that Jordan Game 6 that we talk about. Because you hear that they're beating. I mean, they're really beating up on the Lakers. But then the story's like, can the Lakers come back? Can they make history?
Yeah.
Like,
it's disrespectful.
That's just it's like blatant, man. Like we Denver, we don't want you to win, and I think that's gonna play a role in the championship. And I think the Heat have it too, but I think Denver's just gonna have a little bit more hunger for it.
I agree. Now, as a coach, in my honest opinion, if I'm the coach of Denver, and I did see a clip where he's using this as fuel to help motivate his team. They're already motivated group of individuals, but when you need that little extra gasoline on the fire, you can pull it from places like that, and use the media to help,
Yeah, sure. Look at what they're saying.
Exactly. Because I mean, I forget the what's the coach's name? Something Malone.
Malone? Coach Malone?
Mike Malone. Is that his first name? Okay, Mike Malone. Yeah. To my knowledge, I don't know of him coaching anywhere else. I never really paid attention to him as a coach. I've just seen him on the Denver Nuggets. But to be a coach this long in the NBA and then not have the recognition of maybe a Popovich,
right,
a Spoelstra, Phil Jackson, those kind of guys, I would want to make a name for myself.
Yeah.
And I would use every little bit that I could to motivate my guys to get us to the top of the hill.
Yep. Yeah, and he's on his game too. Like you could tell he makes the right adjustments. He does he makes the right calls, and then he trusts Jokic or whoever. They see something in the game.
Yeah, he lets them make
the adjustment.
No, you're right. And then those are signs we've always talked about of a great coach.
Yeah.
It's like you got to know when your players, right? You got to know who your personnel is,
right,
and what they are capable of and what they're not capable of.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like the guy way down at the end.
Sitting at the end of the bench.
Hey, coach, I got to play for
Yeah. Let me draw it up.
Let me draw it up.
In the timeout.
Hold on,
draw it up.
That's not your turn yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but yeah, man, it's going to be a great series. I think for the young players watching, I think, really pay attention to those two teams because, we all love LeBron and Jason Tatum, but they're just not making everybody better around them right now. LeBron used to, I think
Yeah.
he used to.
Yeah.
But I think he feels the end is coming,
Oh, for sure.
and he's trying to hold
Hang
on to it.
as long as he can. Well, he's waiting for Bronny, right, to get to
Right.
the NBA.
Right.
And I mean, you can't really blame him, right? And when people bring up the fact that, well, Bronny may only make it to the NBA because of who his dad is, right?
Right.
And my response to that is two ways I look at it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Number one, I do think he's talented enough to play in the NBA, but do I think he'll be an amazing player?
Yeah.
I don't know, because it's always hard to follow your dad. If your dad was a great player, it's really hard for you to be better than him, right? In
Well,
that sport.
especially if it's LeBron James.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. But then the other side of it is like, even in corporate America, if someone's dad has a position in that company
Yeah.
and they can bring their son in,
Yeah.
they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Right.
You're going to look out for your family.
Right.
So LeBron's only doing what is right.
Right.
You know,
He's only-
Doc Rivers,
Oh, yeah.
Austin Rivers is in the NBA. Is Austin Rivers one of the best players in the NBA? No. You know, was Luke Walton? Was Luke Walton Jr. a
Oh,
great
my
player?
God. Luke,
No.
no, he wasn't.
But his dad was in the NBA,
And he got to coach.
and he got to coach.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Yeah. No, LeBron's doing what he's supposed to do, but yeah, he's not the LeBron we used to know. That's
no.
all.
How many years do you think he's got left?
I mean, I think he could play for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
but he's gonna have to go to like another team where he doesn't have to be LeBron.
I think he should. Yeah, I think he should seriously start thinking about coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Come off the bench and average a double-double.
Yeah, or just be like a good three, like a 3-man. You know,
Yeah,
like
the third option on the team.
yeah, like somebody go for 20 and 10, but then you got like, the two young superstars.
True.
That can go get you to do all the work that you don't have to do no more. Just get in the post and dunk the ball.
So maybe like getting traded to Sacramento.
Yeah, work with Sabonis.
It just might. You already got the coach in Mike. Why can't I think of his name?
Oh,
Mike
Mike
Brown.
Brown. Yeah, you
Yeah.
already played for him.
Yep.
Yep.
You've already prayed for him. You've already played for him.
Yeah.
A group of young guys that just need the veteran leadership,
Yep.
like a LeBron James.
Yeah.
Be
Or go
plugged
back
into
to Cleveland. I mean, you got Donovan Mitchell.
Or that too. Yeah. I
Yeah,
didn't
you
even
could
think
go
about
back
that.
there.
Darius Garland. Darius
Darius-
Garland's a great guard, man.
Yeah.
Quick, shifty.
They got big men in there.
Or the Knicks, maybe.
Knicks, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot of options. I just don't think he's the number one anymore.
Right.
He's good still, but he's just too much.
Right,
Too
right,
much for
right.
him.
Well, this kind of segues us into our next topic too, man. Because
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about the NBA.
Yeah.
But what did you think about the recent situation with John Morant? I mean, this is a kid who, not even 2 months prior, did the same exact thing.
Yeah, like you said, man, it's a kid doing the same mistake twice. I mean, I think it's gonna require a serious punishment from the NBA for the point to get across, and I think it's not a matter of whether it was legal or not. I think it's a matter of what he's teaching these young kids that are playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we talk about it on our episodes all the time. I mean, these kids are looking for somebody to follow.
Right.
And really, the most attractive things is like what looks cool, who's doing it. The right thing isn't always the cool thing. So,
True.
You might be in a state where you can do that, but if you come here to Chicago and this little kid's throwing up a pistol, I mean, that could be bad news for him.
Right.
But he's doing it because Ja does it.
Right. And
So-
he doesn't understand the consequences. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think
Potential consequences.
I think Ja has to think about it in that way. Whether he cares or not, I don't know, but I think it's just his responsibility for being that good.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to be like Mike. I went and got my ear pierced. I wanted a hoop earring.
Right.
I'm sure if Mike was doing some other crazy stuff, I probably would want to.
You probably would have done it.
Yeah, I mean, Kobe. Everybody wanted.
No, yeah.
I wanted to shave my head at one point.
Yeah.
So I think, Ja's just missing that part.
Yeah.
Of why it's so serious.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
So I think that, I agree with you. I think, well, first and foremost, it was just dumb, right?
Right.
But I believe in giving everybody grace to an extent, right? So we were once young. We made stupid mistakes. Every now and then I still make stupid mistakes, right? And so, but I try not to record it. I think that's the biggest takeaway from it for me is just like, bro, okay, I understand you're going to do dumb stuff every now and then. I understand you're 22, 23, however old you are, 24 even, right?
Right.
You've got all this money. The people around you, they're not the smartest or wisest people on the planet either.
Right.
You're going to make some mistakes.
Right.
Just don't record it.
Yeah.
Don't pull out your phone. Sit there and take the time to be like, okay, wait, guys, we got 5, 4, okay, we're live. Pull out the gun.
I just don't get it, man.
Because that's what it seems like, right? Like,
right.
You think about it, like, what were you guys thinking? This was just so dumb, so stupid. But I don't know, man. I don't know. When it comes to the punishment part, I feel like they do have to make an example out of him to an extent. Reason being, the NBA is a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate, right? He works for that organization. There's been multiple analysts and ex-NBA players that have brought up the fact that when you work for the NBA, you're representing us. You have to look a certain way. Maybe you don't want to be a role model, but you still have to represent this job and your career in a way that is professional.
Right.
With that being said, we gotta take some of your money, man, and we're gonna have to take away some of your playing time. Otherwise, the next person is just gonna think that it's okay.
Right.
From a society perspective, though, he didn't commit a crime.
Right.
Right. It just was dumb. It just was stupid.
Stupid. Yeah.
And I know JJ Redick brought up, the fact that there's some politicians that there's everyday people that post pictures of guns all the time and they don't get in trouble because they're not committing crimes, et cetera, et cetera. And we have this stigma here in America with gun violence, whether if you're a young black male using a gun versus a young white male, let's say, for example, using a gun, you're looked at and perceived differently. Now that is true. That is true. But Josh should be even more conscious of that. His dad, because one of the things I brought up to you is like, where's his dad in all of this? His dad is always at the games. His dad is always there enjoying it, celebrating it, and right there for the posters and everything like that. But when your son is making these kind of mistakes, and don't get me wrong, I'm not judging them. I'm not judging his dad. I'm not judging Ja when I say these things. It's not coming from a place of judgment. It's just conversation.
Right.
But as a father, it's like, what are you thinking, man? Like, I would be thinking if that was my son, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What are you doing?
I don't get it, man. Like, you're making over $200 million a year. Yes, you have every right to own a legal firearm.
Right.
But you don't need to be recording this stuff.
Yeah.
What would you say to him if that was your son?
Same thing you just said. Like, man, what? Because it's just dumb. Because the thing is, like you said, it's just dumb. So it's like hard, like to, you can't really elaborate any further than it's just dumb. You got, like you said, you're making all this money. Nike's probably about to drop you.
Yeah.
Then where you gonna go?
Yep.
And it's too early. Like, you just started. You ain't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just getting good. And I don't know what their relationship is, but the only thing that I could think of is maybe why his dad's not saying nothing is because Ja's got the money. And that could be, that could be a big thing. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't.
So it's like an ego thing, maybe for Ja.
Maybe.
Or maybe his dad has said something, and maybe Ja told him like, "Hey, I'm the one bringing in the bread. I'm the captain of the ship now."
Right. It could be that. It could be that. I mean, because you see, his dad almost got into it too.
With Shannon Sharpe.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at the dad too, like, I don't know. I mean, he did that too. That reflects on Ja.
True.
True. So I don't know, man. It's definitely was a dumb decision to make, but yeah, JJ Redick's perspective. I mean, yeah, he didn't do anything illegal, but it's like, it's like they follow you, man. So they're gonna do they're gonna copy you,
right? Mm-hmm.
Like what the Tate effect.
No,
You
yeah.
know, they're just gonna follow you. So
True.
do we want a bunch of kids out here going to AAU with a gun?
True. Yeah, no.
I don't know.
But then another part too is like, even if you're a registered firearm owner, right? And even if you didn't do anything illegal, the perception of it,
Yeah.
right, is that now we know that there's people out there in society that do live that kind of life,
Right.
right? And what I don't think Josh's thinking about either is like, somebody's gonna try you and see if you're really about that life at some point, right? If you want to present yourself in a certain way, well, there's potential consequences that come with that.
Right.
He's gonna go to the wrong city,
Right.
and some gang member or somebody that is really about that life is gonna roll up on him, and in that moment, he's gonna realize like this isn't an Instagram live video.
Not no
You
more. Yeah.
This is real life, and danger is right here on your doorstep.
Yeah.
Now, how are you gonna respond to it?
Yeah, because he's throwing up, gang signs and stuff, or
Yeah.
and during the game, I'm like, come
Yeah.
that
Just
shit
be
ain't
smart.
cool no
No.
more, man. Like, in the 90s, yeah, it was cool. It ain't cool no more.
Right. And I mean, I guess to an extent, I mean, it's not even necessarily like, I don't know, man. Because I say to myself, like, once again, if you're going to do that kind of stuff, that's fine. If that's what you want
Right.
to do. But just don't film it.
Yeah.
Just don't show everybody. Like,
Yeah.
you're putting a target on your back,
Right. No face, no case.
Exactly. Exactly, man. It's
Yeah.
true. It's true.
With that, we'll take a quick break.
Cool.
All right, cool, Cuzzo, and we're back from the break.
All right.
We were talking about Ja and his whole gun issue. I just thought of something though.
Okay. What you got?
The whole thing with the whole gun issue. I don't know how it was for you, but
Mhm.
this is how it was for me. When you heard the word gun, like it sounds serious, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I almost feel like now, since everybody, what do they call it? A blicky.
Oh, yeah.
So now, like, it's almost like, hey, you got that blicky on?
Yeah.
Like they've turned the word into something almost like, I don't want to say cool because it's not, but attractive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if I say, yo, Malcolm, you got that gun on you,
Yeah.
everybody's gonna be like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
If you say, do I have that blicking? I'm gonna say, yeah, in case things get sticky. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Right.
That's what I'm gonna say. No, I'm just kidding.
But I think about it, and it's just like, man, some of the way culture and
Yeah.
society has changed some of the things that we grew up with.
Yeah.
I mean, you heard gun, man. You ain't
Yeah.
playing that. Like, we ain't playing.
But you know what? That's a sign too that we are getting older. Because
Yeah.
we're starting to we're saying like, what are these kids saying nowadays? What are these words that they're using?
Right.
What is all this lingo?
Yeah. These abbreviations.
Yeah, man, and we're having a hard time keeping up.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about it. I'm like, man, that's probably plays a role in it.
It does.
Because
Oh, for
everything
sure.
is made to be attractive now. Where things were bad,
Yeah,
they were bad.
yeah.
You know?
And that's a part of like it's always been something like in I don't want to say just hip, but it's a cultural thing.
yeah.
It's like it's hip hop. It's within the black, and I can only speak from this perspective of like
Right.
being black, but in the black community and black culture and black music and hip hop, it's always like just a rhythm, a flow.
Yeah, it's like a starter pack. You gotta have that on.
Yeah, you just gotta have that swagger. That just it's different,
Yeah.
But the crazy part about it is that if we're being completely honest, a lot of the world is influenced by what black culture does,
Yeah.
right? Because all around the world, globally, you see how people react to rappers,
Right.
to the different things that happen within rap and hip hop and whatnot.
Right.
Some of it's good, some of it's bad.
Right.
But yeah, man, I mean, the stuff that we see nowadays compared to the stuff that we saw growing up, I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe our parents were thinking the same thing back in the 90s when
I'm
they were
sure they
listening
were.
to Tupac and
Yeah.
Biggie and DMX and stuff like that. Like, man, this isn't the same stuff.
Yeah, that's
that we
true.
grew up on in the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm sure
So,
that is true. I'm
yeah.
sure that is true because I mean, we had that whole East Coast West Coast thing, and Eminem and or 50 Cent and Ja Rule,
Right.
the beef,
Right.
or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the culture shapes everything, and I think that that's playing a role in all of this, man. But it's hard. It's what people like, so it's like, what are rappers gonna rap about?
Right.
Unless
Yeah.
you're Drake
Yeah. And you can. Yeah.
or
Yeah, you
J.
build-
Cole,
Right. Right.
but nobody wants to be like J. Cole.
Well, what's funny too about J. Cole is my personal favorite
Yeah.
rapper. I got him, Kendrick, and
Yeah.
a few other guys up there. But the thing
Right.
about J. Cole now is, and I've heard younger customers of mine or kids that I know will say
Right.
like, "Oh, J. Cole was boring," and I'm thinking in
Yeah.
my head like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he."
It's
just
because of
said
what
that.
he's talking about.
I can't believe he just said that. Did he just say that about one of the
Yeah,
goats?
The goats, dude.
But I
goats.
remind myself that like what I appreciate about J. Cole and the lyricism and the storytelling
Right.
isn't what these kids want to listen to. They
Right,
would much
yeah.
rather listen to. I'm trying to think of somebody right now, like Nardo Wick,
I don't even know. Who that is.
or
I don't even know who that
or,
is, but I don't want to know.
or
NBA YoungBoy. That's
yeah,
a big one.
NBA. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I only heard one song called from that Nevada song. But that's just because it was on a
Nevada. I don't think I've heard that.
Nevada.
One. Maybe
yeah.
I have, and I
You
just don't
probably
know
heard it. That's
But-
the only one I know.
Okay.
But that's
Okay.
So
But yeah, man. So just different times, man. Different times, and we are of that generation now, man. That we're trying to make sense of it. I mean, we can somewhat relate to it because we get it, right?
Right.
But then the other half of it is just like, all right, at some point, man, this is just in Josh's situation, this is just dumb.
Yeah, and
This
it's
is
like
just stupid.
yeah, and when I think about it, and if it was like somebody I knew, we've talked about this before. It's like, what are you chasing?
Yeah.
What is it
What's
that
your
you're really?
end game here?
What's the end game?
Yeah.
Yeah, really. What is it? What is it? I would really like to know that answer from
Yeah.
Jai. Like, what is your end game with all this nonsense?
And to piggyback off of that, as a friend,
Yeah,
what friends does he have around him that really check him? Because you gotta have a group of individuals.
right.
It doesn't matter if it's one person or two or three guys that can come
Right.
to you and be like, "Bro, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
Like seriously, what
Yeah.
are you thinking? And
Yeah.
really check you and call you out on it." And to
Yeah.
the point where you don't get upset with them, you don't get mad at them. You understand that they care about you. That's why they're saying something in the first place.
Right. Right.
I don't know if Ja has that.
I don't think. I mean, I would say no.
And there's
Be-
a lot of young individuals that don't have
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah. I mean, I would say no because he's finding himself in this.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about the other superstars. I mean, LeBron didn't get into none of that, nonsense. So I'm sure he had some people around him make sure he was doing the right thing.
True. Yeah. True.
Yeah. I mean, if
Well, you look at all of LeBron's friends, Maverick Carter.
Yeah.
Can I think of Paul?
Rich Paul.
Rich Paul.
yeah.
Look at how they've all transformed their lives.
Right.
Every single one of them is in a much better position from when they first started out.
Right.
Yeah.
And it ties into, I mean, the stuff that we're talking about with Ja and like Denver and Miami. All this is just a mindset. All of it is.
Mm-hmm.
Even 50 Cent before he was getting big, they were doing interviews and he was like, my grandpa used to tell me like,
Yeah.
if your friend ain't doing nothing, then what are you gonna learn from him?
Yep.
So Ja, you gotta ask yourself the same thing.
Yeah, you are who you surround yourself with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they might be your boys,
But are they really your boys?
but yeah, like, I mean, we can, it's like we can hang out, shoot hoops or shoot something like neutral, like be somewhere neutral, like if so you guys can hang out. But then after that, you gotta ride out
yeah, you got to get away from them.
because they ain't gonna take you nowhere.
Nah, that's true.
And it's clear because it's happened twice.
That's
That's the problem. Like clearly, it happened twice.
within such
In
within
a
2
small,
months.
short amount of time. So that means, and the other thing is like that's only what we saw.
we know
caught
of.
him. Yeah,
Right.
caught him doing. So I
Right.
mean, not that he was doing like something illegal, but
Right.
you know what I mean. Like
No, I
caught,
got you.
caught him doing that. So I mean, yeah, man, you got to surround yourself with with people that where you're not the smartest guy in the room,
Yeah.
like we always talk about.
Yeah.
You know, you have to. If not, you're gonna find yourself in that spot.
Now, do you put some of that ownership on his parents?
Yeah, I think you have to,
Yeah.
because that's your first like line of
Yep.
of education is your
Yep.
parents.
Yeah.
You know, and then, I mean, one of my friends told me those like by the time your kid gets 14, 15, if you don't have it under control or
Have a foundation.
have a foundation, you're gonna lose them.
Yep.
So I don't know what Josh's thing was, but or obviously money changes you.
Mm-hmm.
Money
True.
can change you.
True.
So maybe they were fine up until he got $200 million and felt like he could do whatever what he wants.
True.
No,
true.
But it does. I think all of it plays a role. But he's
And then also to give him a little bit of to give him some grace.
yeah.
I don't know what I would have done if somebody would have given me $200 million.
I don't either.
22, 23, 24.
Right.
I would like to think that, I would say, I would do this,
Yeah.
this, and this. But
Yeah.
to your point, man, somebody hands you that amount of money, you start feeling yourself a little bit. Your ego starts getting a little bigger. You got all these options. Any car you want, you can have.
Yep.
Any woman you want, pretty much for the most part, you
Right.
can have. Restaurant, all that stuff, house, everything.
Right. Everybody wants to be your friend.
So you got the key to the world now.
Yep.
And with what is the saying? With power, or power corrupts absolutely. I believe.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. So if you really want to see what a man is capable of, or who he truly is, you give him power.
Yeah.
And he'll show you, 'cause it's in him.
He'll show you. He'll show you what that money can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, question: what is what you're chasing turning you into? Because whatever Ja's chasing, it ain't working out. It ain't an NBA championship.
And then we compare somebody like, because you brought this up earlier. You compare somebody like Ja to Kyrie.
Yeah.
Right? So you have two guys from basically polar opposites as far as the way that they carry themselves.
Right.
But yet, they both have found themselves in an immense amount of trouble in the NBA. One guy gets vilified.
Yeah.
I mean, they both got vilified, right?
Right.
But the approach was completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, that's politics and all that go into play because, I mean, to this day, I always say I don't think Kyrie did anything wrong.
Yeah, no.
I don't think he did anything wrong for him for them to do him the way they did him. And then when you look at compare it to Ja, I mean, they're both affecting, I guess, everybody who's following them. But I don't think Kyrie was doing anything like portraying a bad image.
No, he just had Kyrie's a different cat.
Yeah.
And he has every right to be that.
Right.
My only issue with Kyrie was just make sure you're playing. That's all.
That's all to work.
That's all.
That's
That's
all to
all.
work,
Just
though.
play, man. Just
Yeah.
play. And Stephen A. and other people would say it too. Like, hey, if you're going out there, man, and dropping 30 points a night,
Right.
8 rebounds and 5 assists, or I don't even know if he averaged that many,
Well,
but just for the sake of it, like,
Yeah.
you're doing your job. You're going out there, you're getting buckets, and that's what people are paying to see.
Right.
Okay, nobody's gonna bat an eye, but you're not even playing.
Right.
And you want people to take a look at everything that you have going on outside of basketball. And
Right.
it's unfortunate because people fell in love with him because of what he was doing on the court before they fell in love with who he was as the person.
Right.
And now he's trying to say, I want you guys to fall in love with me as the person
Right.
and put that first, and then I'm also a basketball player.
Right.
And it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, they got a tough job. That's for sure. If you're good, you got a tough job
Mm-hmm.
because you got everybody watching you.
Yeah.
You got to be almost perfect.
You're criticized for every little thing you do.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why you gotta have your stuff. You gotta have your mindset right. You gotta have your health right, so you can make these good tough decisions.
What advice would you give Ja right now from a podcast perspective?
Podcast perspective.
Like, what would you tell him to do right now so that he make sure that something like this doesn't happen again?
It would be time to go in hibernation
Yep, I agree.
and isolate.
So you remember when we shot the podcast with Gio and I brought up strategic isolation?
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah. This is what it's time for.
Mhm.
And I'm only taking 1 or 2 people with me.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
There's only 1 or 2 people.
Yep. And take a year off from basketball if you have to.
Yeah. I would be. It would be like I'm about to lose so much.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be time to isolate. Like and then I'd be really reflecting on who is around me. And then by the time I came out, it'd be different. It'd be different.
Because you feel like that he's created this alter ego?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like it seems like it's just turning into something that he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
You know, like just.
Now, do you think it was also the culture? Because remember, Memphis, him, Dylan Brooks, and a few of the other guys on that team, like they wanted to portray themselves as like the bad boys of the West.
Right.
You know? And Dylan Brooks showing up with, you know, a velvet 3-piece suit.
Yeah.
You know, no shirt on underneath, big chains hanging, and you know, stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's like,
yeah, man. I think all that plays a role. Like, and at the end of the day, it's like we say, just be you, man.
True.
Just be you.
True. Yeah.
And you'll be fine. You don't have or whatever it is. I mean, you're cool without that.
Yep.
It's like when I remember, man. Shout out to my boy Danny V from college, man. He used to. So when people started getting their ears pierced, he was just like, "Man, you trying to get your ears pierced?" Not to me, but he would just say like, "You trying to get your ears pierced because you trying to be cool?"
Right.
And then he's like, "Just be you. You're cool without the earrings."
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But like people try to modify themselves to be cool, and it's like you're fine. You're cool the way you are, man. Like
I agree.
Like like your hair is your hair. Like that's Malcolm's hair.
Yeah, it just grows like this.
He ain't trying to be somebody. No. It's just that's just what you like.
Yeah, and I think too, find the there's nothing wrong with expressing yourself, right? Express it in an artistic way.
Right.
That's what I do with my hair, with my earrings, with the way that I dress from time to time. It's an expression. Right. You know, an artistic expression of my own creativity.
Right.
And I think that's really where I don't want to say the alter ego should come from, but that's how you should operate in the world.
But let me ask you this then, because you're a brand in yourself, you know, aside from the electives, you're a barber.
Right.
If what you were doing, the way you were expressing yourself was hurting the barbershop, people stopped coming to, get a haircut. Would you modify some things, or would you be like, no, this is me? Like if you were just acting, you know what I'm saying? Like if you like with the whole Ja thing, we're pretending to be Ja.
Right.
You're just acting and you're like, man, I'm growing out, doing whatever the case it was, but it was affecting your business.
Right.
Would you change it? Would you realize it then, you think?
Yeah. I think so. Because I would say to myself, like, I have customers that have been coming to me for years. I'd be like, man, the fact that person no longer comes to me, like, maybe it's me.
Right.
You know, maybe it is me.
Yeah.
And I should take another look in the mirror and kind of reflect and recalibrate and all of those things. But yeah, man, it's a tough thing to learn, in your 20s, especially if you don't have the right people around you.
Yeah.
But getting comfortable in your own skin and just being okay with who you are and the way you carry yourself is truly a gift. It's freeing and it's extremely liberating.
Yeah.
So I hope man, I hope he gets to that point.
Yeah.
I really do. Because it seems like Kyrie's gotten to that point.
Yeah,
Kyrie doesn't care about what people think.
Right.
He's just got to play.
He's got to play. We need you on the court, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need you on the court. But yeah, man, I mean, to wrap it up, I hope you guys got something from this podcast. I mean, it was definitely sports directed, but as you can see, I mean, there's a lot of lessons learned in there. We talk about Denver's success, what's working, what's not working, why is it working. Ja Morant, decision making, mindset, stuff that discipline. Yeah, that's all the stuff that goes into hip hop culture. What you're feeding your brain, what we talk about.
No, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff to take away, man. There's always some stuff to take away. So, And if you haven't listened to our other episodes, check them out because you'll see like why we brought this in.
Exactly. And it'll bring context to
Yeah.
everything. You know, like David
Yeah.
always says, we're not a sports podcast, but we love sports. We play
Yeah.
basketball. So from time to time, we bring it in because it's something that we are passionate about, something
Yeah.
we do care about. And we do feel like it translates to our overall message as a podcast.
Yep.
So we appreciate you guys for listening. As always, thank you for watching. Like David said, if you haven't caught up on all the episodes, go back. Links in the bio, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.